This is Third Eye Africa TV, exposing crime, savaging the nation. Nigerian Navy rescues kidnapped victims in Rivers State. Anambra State Police overhauls Criminal Investigation Department for better security. Nigeria's defense chiefs praise efforts to secure the Northwest. Across the African continent, outrage after 8-year-old girl found living with man in Somalia. And Russia calls up 160,000 conscripts in military expansion. Stay tuned for details of these stories and more.
For deeper analysis on security situation in Nigeria and beyond, watch Third Eye Africa TV.
Good morning and thank you for joining us on Third Eye Africa TV, broadcasting from the Central Business District, Abuja. My name is Bivan Magoni with the news in detail. In a remarkable rescue operation, the Nigerian Navy's forward operation base in Bonny, Rivers State, saved 15 individuals who were kidnapped by armed criminals. The incident unfolded when the victims were traveling on a market boat from Bonny Island to Port Harcourt. The boat was hijacked by 4 armed men, and according to Lieutenant Commander Sirajo Al-Mustafa, the Navy's anti-kidnapping team received a distress call and responded swiftly. Thanks to their prompt action, all 15 victims were rescued unharmed. The Navy has confirmed that the attackers were apprehended and the victims were later debriefed. This successful operation highlights the ongoing efforts of the Nigerian Navy to combat criminal activities and improve safety on waterways in the region. In a bid to improve security and fight crime more effectively, the Commissioner of Police in Anambra State, Ikioye Orutugu, has announced a significant overhaul of the state's Criminal Investigation Department, CID. The restructuring will focus on enhancing intelligence gathering and improving investigative capacity of officers. As part of the changes, a new political desk unit has been created within the CID. This unit will be tasked with monitoring political development and assessing potential security risks related to political events. In a statement, police spokesperson Tochukwu Ikenga emphasized that the restructuring is part of Anambra's ongoing efforts to proactively address crime and ensure the safety of all residents. The move follows a series of meetings aimed at addressing emerging crime trends and increasing the CID's operational effectiveness. The Northern Elders Political Development Group has commended Nigeria's defense leaders for their efforts in enhancing security across the Northwest region. The group praised the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Mutawale, and the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, for their work in significantly reducing the impact of banditry in towns and villages. The praise comes after many communities in the region were able to celebrate the Eid al-Fitr festivities without any bandit attacks, a stark contrast to previous years. The group highlighted the successful military operations in Zamfara, Sokoto, and Katsina states that have contributed to the improved security in the regions, making travel and trade safer for residents. The Northern Elders also noted that the enhanced security has brought renewed hope to the region, particularly after the challenges faced during Ramadan. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, the 3 countries that formed the Alliance of Sahel States, have introduced a 0.5% levy on all imported goods as part of efforts to finance their newly established union. This levy will be implemented immediately and will apply to all goods imported into the 3 countries, with the exception of humanitarian aid. While the specific details of how the funds will be used remain unclear, the 3 nations have emphasized their commitment to strengthening their military, economic, and political ties within the alliance. The move follows their exit from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and aims to reduce their reliance on external support. However, the introduction of this levy marks the end of free trade within West Africa under ECOWAS, which had imposed sanctions to encourage a return to democratic rule in the region. The Federal Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Utev, has inspected the ongoing Makodi irrigation project, which aims to enhance food security and agricultural production in Nigeria. During his visit, The minister revealed that 3,000 hectares of land have been allocated for dry season farming, with 1,200 hectares specifically designated for irrigation. He also mentioned that the remaining 1,800 hectares will be utilized for the World Bank-supported Sustainable Power and Irrigation for Nigeria project. To further boost agricultural production, contracts have been awarded for the construction of new irrigation channels and the expansion of existing systems. Additionally, the government is working on harnessing the hydropower components of dams across the country to improve energy supply. These measures are part of the government's broader strategy to increase food production and ensure sustainable farming practices. Nigeria is leading efforts to create globally harmonized laws to address cyber-enabled organized immigration crimes. Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, Nigeria's Minister of Interior, made the call during an interview at the Border Security Summit in London, hosted by UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. Dr. Tunji-Ojo advocated for common international standards to combat online human trafficking, migrant exploitation, and illegal recruitment. He stressed that digital crime, due to its borderless nature, requires coordinated global action. The minister also highlighted that Nigeria, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, has been taking decisive steps to curb online criminal activities, especially those linked to illegal immigration. This push for international cooperation aims to address the growing threat of cyber criminals operating across multiple jurisdictions. In Abia State, 3 mortuary attendants narrowly escaped being lynched by an angry mob after the testicles of a deceased man was discovered missing from his body. The family of the deceased had brought the body to the mortuary for preservation, but when they returned to retrieve it for burial, one of the family members insisted that the body be undressed for final inspection. It was during this inspection that the testicle was found missing, prompting the family and surrounding youths to accuse the mortuary attendants. The situation quickly escalated as the attendants attempted to flee the scene but were apprehended by the irate mob. Fortunately, law enforcement intervened in time to prevent violence and ensure the safety of the attendants. The matter is now under investigation. A pastor in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, has been arrested on allegations of engaging in homosexual acts. The pastor, identified as Elijah, was apprehended after videos of him involved in sexual activities with a man were leaked to the police. The footage was reportedly captured by a male acquaintance named Patrick, who had been the target of the pastor's advances. During questioning, the pastor allegedly confessed to similar activities involving both adults and minors. The Rivers State Police Command has confirmed the arrest, and the pastor has been arraigned in court. Authorities are continuing their investigation into the case. Thank you for staying with us on Third Eye Africa TV. We'll go for a break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at news across the African continent.
This collation center is a fabrication of our own ideas that collation center becomes superior to result coming from a polling unit. We must have an election that represents the true wishes and aspirations of our people through the ballot. And elections must stop at the polling unit. You can't have election at the polling unit. People have cast their vote. Elected members have been elected. It's uploaded to the new technology that we're using, the IRF and the beavers. And then you get to collation center, you see another result like it happened in Edo.
We must now go back to section 88 of the Constitution, which gives only the National Assembly, not EFCC, not ICPC, not the police, not the DSS or the National Security Advisor. They don't have such powers. Only the National Assembly has the power to carry out investigation of funds that have been allocated, that have been approved by the federal government through the budget, the appropriation act enacted by the National Assembly.
Pleasure being with you, our viewers. This is Third Eye Africa TV.
The program is Nigeria and Politics.
This is Third Eye Africa TV, exposing crime, savaging the nation.
Thank you for staying with us. And to the news across the African continent, outrage has erupted in Somalia after an 8-year-old girl who had been missing for 6 months was found living with a man who claimed to be her husband. The girl was reported missing last September from Portland, and it later emerged that her father had given his consent for her to marry a man named Sheikh Mahmoud. Security forces recently stormed the man's house after he locked himself in a room with the girl. The incident has sparked widespread protests in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, and has renewed calls for stronger child protection laws. Currently, Somalia lacks a legal minimum age for marriage, a situation that has fueled public outrage. Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema has issued a stern warning to cabinet ministers criticizing them for sleeping during meetings, which he attributed to indulgence and lack of self-discipline. He called this behavior a serious issue, suggesting it could lead to the exposure of state secrets and hinder the delivery of government services. The president's comments came after he observed that some ministers appeared inattentive during cabinet meetings. Hichilema has made it clear that he will not tolerate such behavior, stressing that public service requires full commitment. He also expressed his frustration after privately addressing this issue with ministers multiple times. We're going to break, and when we come back, look at the news across the global scene.
For deeper analysis on security situation in Nigeria and beyond, watch Third Eye Africa TV.
Thank you for staying with us. In a major breakthrough, India's Narcotics Control Bureau, NCB, and Delhi police have arrested 5 suspects, including 4 foreign nationals, in connection with a large drug cartel. The suspects are believed to be part of an influential Nigerian family. Authorities seized millions of dollars worth of illicit drugs, including MDMA, crystal meth, and heroin. The drugs were being produced in a rented property in Delhi. Union Home Minister Amit Shah praised the agencies for their swift action, highlighting the ongoing crackdown on the illicit drug trade in India. UNICEF has reported that more than 300 children have been killed in Gaza since Israel resumed its military offensive 2 weeks ago. The agency condemned the relentless and indiscriminate bombardments that have led to widespread suffering, with many of the children killed or wounded while sheltering in makeshift tents or damaged homes. The renewed violence has brought a tragic setback to Gaza's children, with UNICEF calling for an immediate ceasefire to allow for humanitarian aid to reach those in need. Russia has initiated its largest conscription drive since 2011, calling up 160,000 young men for compulsory military service. This is part of an ongoing effort to expand the country's military forces, which President Vladimir Putin has promised to increase to nearly 2.4 million personnel. Despite the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, these conscripts will not be directly deployed to the front lines, but will bolster the overall strength of Russia's military. The draft has raised concerns, particularly after reports of conscripts being involved in combat during the early stages of the war in Ukraine. Thank you for staying with us. When we come back, we'll take a look at our top stories for the day.
This collation center is a fabrication of our own ideas that collation center becomes superior to result coming from a polling unit. We must have an election that represents the true wishes and aspirations of our people through the ballot. And elections must stop at the polling unit. You can't have election at the polling unit. People have cast their vote. Elected members have been elected. It's uploaded to the new technology that we're using, the IRF and the beavers. And then you get to collation center, you see another result like it happened in Edo.
We must now go back to section 88 of the Constitution, which gives only the National Assembly, not EFCC, not ICPC, not the police, not the DSS or the National Security Advisor. They don't have such powers. Only the National Assembly has the power to carry out investigation of funds that have been allocated, that have been approved by the federal government through the budget the appropriation act made by enacted by the National Assembly.
Pleasure being with you, our viewers. This is Third Eye Africa TV.
The program is Nigeria and Politics.
This is Third Eye Africa TV, exposing crime, savaging the nation.
And now to end the news, another look at our top stories. We told you that Nigerian Navy rescues 15 kidnapped victims in Rivers State. You also heard that Anambra State Police Command overhauls Criminal Investigation Department for better security. And to defense, Nigeria's defense chiefs praise efforts to secure the north. Across the African continent, outrage after 8-year-old girl found living with man in Somalia. And finally, Russia calls up 160,000 conscripts in military expansion. And that's the news from the news desk of Third Eye Africa TV. My name is Bivan Magoni. Thank you for always being with us.
This is Third Eye Africa TV, exposing crime, savaging the nation.